Evening, everybody. I am your host, Krusty Canuck, and this edition of the Krusty Canuck podcast, more hate mail, my apologies, and a couple of sales pitches. All that and more coming up on the Krusty Canuck podcast. Stay tuned. Evening, everybody. I'm your host, Krusty, and this is the Krusty Canuck podcast on a beautiful May 14th, 2019. As I mentioned in the intro, yes, this episode is an apology to some people I was discussing politics with, and more hate mail, and of course a sales pitch. So we'll start with the apologies. To some individuals who have given me facts rather than certain figures, hats off to you. I stand corrected when it comes to certain aspects of Veterans Affairs. To my listeners out there and to my YouTube fans, you know who you are. Once again, my apologies for screwing up the facts when I should have been a little more factual myself. Once again, mea culpa. I'll beat myself up about it later, but once again, I apologize. On a happier note, yes, I want to thank everybody on YouTube who has subscribed recently. Hats off. I know some of it is put private, but hey, to you listeners and viewers out there, thank you very much for your subscriptions and hopefully maybe some donations in the future. And to my other listeners here on the Podbean, thank you again for subscribing. Once again, please inquire about being a patron, and we'll go from there. Okay, and my apologies again for last week's video I tried to upload. I've been having some software issues in regards to my mic and my audio. So I basically had to reload everything from scratch, start again, and hopefully my next video will be a little more, substantial to your standards, and actually hear the words coming out of my mouth rather than, you know what I mean? Anyhow, so back to the hate mail incident. Especially based on my last podcast, I've had a few more incidents with hate mail. I'm not going to mention their names because, well, I'm not going to give them a platform. You know, people forget that we live in a country, ladies and gentlemen, where free speech is allowed. And yes, if you want to send me hateful messages, by all means, right? Yeah, say what you want. You know, I encourage everyone to comment on my work here. I encourage everyone to give me their peace of mind, what they think about said topic or a situation, or what they think in general, right? And I also had a few comments from people saying, well, you're not making any money and you're not doing this and blah, 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 and I'm a communist because... Well, once you start saying that crap, then you've basically lost interest. I've lost all respect for you. I don't care what your political belief is, folks. Honestly, I don't. You know, I can lean libertarian, I can lean conservative. I have liberal values, meaning live and let live. I don't care if Bob and Steve get married. I don't care if June and Edna have 2 or 3 kids. But don't try to tell me that the sun is the moon and the moon is the sun to suit your narrative. Understand? I do believe in can't speak English today. I do believe in live and let live policy. As long as you're not hurting people taking their stuff. Shit simple. Right? You know, I had a few comments there on one of my group pages in regards, well, how can you be a libertarian if you don't believe in hedonism? Interesting. Okay, well, I don't believe in screwing everything with 2 legs, you know. If someone has a sexual lifestyle where they want to do that, by all means, go ahead and do it. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean, you know, it's never going to happen for somebody. When I look at liberty, I look at people doing what they want to do, making money by whatever means they see fit, and not having to shell out 42% of that in taxes to an ungrateful government that likes to control and oversee things. You know what I mean? Government should be helping people, not hurting them or guiding them. Right? Shit simple. Yet, somewhere along the line in our history, we have forgotten that. Regardless of what party loyalty you have, the standing government right now does not give a shit about your welfare, nor do they give a shit about your money. Well, they do. They want to take it, right? I.e. carbon tax. more taxes, right? Small business taxes, payroll taxes, provincial taxes, whether it's HST, PST, GST, or whatever STD they want to keep promoting. They keep throwing it down your faces and throwing it in your throats. So when someone says to me about liberty, I don't know the first thing about it. Well, I know how to make money, and I know what kind of work it takes to get into it. And if I'm doing 45 hours work and then some, I want to get paid for it. Right? So do you folks. Doesn't matter what profession you do. It doesn't matter if you're working with your hands, your head, your heart, whether you're in the humanities, whether you're in medicine, whether you're in manufacturing, whether you're in carpentry, trades, what have you. You do a good job and you want to get paid for it. And the government has taken too much already. Honestly. So back to the hate speech. No, it's hate speech. There's no such thing as hate speech. That's a broad spectrum, back to the hate mail, yes, and so many people I've offended. Ooh, goodness. I've had the opportunity of talking to some quote-unquote ex-officers of the Canadian Forces, basically more or less in black and white, jacking me up online for, my approach to this podcast and my videos. And more or less, I'm like, well, F you, sir. I don't take orders from anybody anymore. I'm not part of the chain of command. I don't follow the QRNOs. I follow Canadian law. I follow provincial law. I'm no longer subject to Her Majesty's scrutiny in regards to speaking my mind. The Magna Carta has promoted that, and I'll leave a link to a Magna Carta for you all there. But needless to say, I've done my service to Queen and Country, and to those wankers out there that have said to me I don't deserve my medals, that's pretty rich coming from people that have never served a day in their lives in the military institution, right? So, for someone who has tried to disenfranchise somebody for being a soldier and then turn around and disenfranchise them again for having a medal or 2 or 3 or 4, who the hell are you to criticize anything I've done? You never served with me. I never served with you, right? So put that in your pipe and smoke it, Sancho. Right? Whoever the hell you are. Just another internet troll causing shit, ladies and gentlemen. That's all it is. More trolls, tossing their opinions around like it's gold. Well, yeah, I toss my opinion around too. But you, the listener and the viewer, you don't have to tune into my work, right? If it's a shameful thing to ask for donations for my work, then pardon me. But last time I checked, I was living in a democracy, and capitalism was a good thing, right? I'm volunteering my time here to make this podcast what it is. I've invested time, effort, and some money into it, as well as my videos too. And you, as a consumer, have the choice. If you don't like what I have to say, you don't have to listen to it. You don't have to agree, right? You don't have to disagree either. The choice is yours. Free thought, ladies and gentlemen, free expression, freedom of association. It's in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms too. And if you don't like it, then petition the government to get rid of it. So therefore, those people out there with fragile feelings and, have a safe space, that way it won't get violated. And that way you can go live in unicorn land, play with pixie dust, and become a barista, starship captain, or whatever else you identify with. But for the rest of us adults out here, let's carry on, shall we? So, back to more hate speech crap, right? When I hear the term hate speech, one would think logically, okay, one person standing up on his or her soapbox, screaming this, screaming that, I hate this, I hate that, fine, that can be hate speech. That can be deemed as hate speech. But what I don't get is the whole criminal element that's going with it. Now, if you turn around and said you hated a certain group of certain people, well, that's just basic prejudice and or racism, depending on who you're pointing a finger at. Right? But if you hate certain administration, if you hate the government, if you hate paying taxes every year, especially when you get reassessed, how could that be hate speech? Right? I look at some of my friends' profiles and some of the work they're doing, some of my other media friends out there, and some of the comments that are being made, when it comes to recommendations. And it's funny how the left sense of mind keeps saying, oh, this is nothing but a hateful page, and it's nothing but generating hatred, and it's promoting hate. It's like the same regurgitated statement over and over again. You know, what do you expect people to say? What do you expect people to do? If you don't like this product, well, you don't have to buy it, right? There's certain laundry soap I don't like. I'm not going to write the people at a certain brand X and say, your soap is nothing but it promotes hatred, and it promotes this, and it promotes that, and I'm not buying your product ever again, right? It'd just be stupid, right? Everybody deserves a certain platform, ladies and gentlemen, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what you agree with or disagree with. By all means, bring it to my attention. Let's have a proper debate. Let's have a civilized discussion in regards to what I say or what you say, rather than just challenging for the sake of challenging and being a wee emotional little brat if you don't like what I say. Huh? Honestly, you don't like what I have to say, no one is forcing you to listen to it. You're not being forced to listen to it. No one's forcing you to click on an icon that I put on a group page. No one is forcing you to. Right? But if you're going to sit and pull a little tantrum and stomp your feet like Cartman on crack, well, then you deserve to be treated like Cartman on crack. You know? Those of you who were raised in a household where if you got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Or speak your mind. Bring it to my attention. Let's have a debate. You can reach me on my Facebook page at Krusty Canuck, here on podbean.com under Krusty Canuck. Or email me at krustybcanuck67@gmail.com. And you can find me on Instagram too. And go from there, by all means. Stop worrying about how things look, people. Start worrying about how things are. Right? If my words hurt you, then maybe you should check yourself rather than point fingers at me for saying bad words or saying bad things, because I've had numerous people in my face from the time I was about 12 years old saying rotten things to me. Some of them were teachers. Some of them were clergy. Some of them were authority figures in my life. Sometimes my parents. Sometimes schoolyard bullies. Did I have my ass kicked as a kid? Yeah, sometimes. I also kicked ass too. Right? Did I get in fights in high school? Yeah, a couple. Did I win a couple? Yeah, I won a couple. Does it really mean anything? No. Right? Have I been challenged to a fight lately? Yeah, a couple times. But I also look at the person who was coming from too, and it wasn't worth my time. Right? So, I'm not afraid of bad words, And if you're the kind of individual that feels that you have to dock somebody and ridicule somebody because you don't like what they have to say, then who is the fascist? Think about it carefully. It's not a hard question, not a hard answer either, right? The one individual said, "Oh, well, you ain't seen nothing yet." Okay, so whatever you're doing, bring it. I challenge it. Bring it to my attention. What are you planning to do? You want to knock on my door? By all means, come on over. Let's have a beer. Let's talk about it. Right? But the moment you threaten anything in my life, whether it be my property, my wife, my pets, game over. You know what I mean? So think about that to those individuals who have said what they have said to me in the past 4 days. Right? Think about that. Right? I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not going to break any laws to prove a point either. But I'm not going to tolerate BS. Yeah? You want to threaten me online? Go right ahead. Well, let's see if you're adult enough to back it up. If not, well, okay, that's great. Then we can debate like other adults and be civil and have a conversation. If you don't want to, well, you don't have to. No one's forcing you to. Like as I say again, no one is forcing you to click on the links that I put on my pages. No one is forcing you to like what I do or donate. No one says you have to give me any money. I'm asking you to donate because the amount of effort and the amount of time that I put into my work here, it does cost a few dollars, and I wouldn't mind some assistance. But basically call me what you want to call a cyber busker. You see a guy in the street playing a guitar or saying some words of poetry or singing a song. Okay, in a way, I'm giving my opinion on world events, on current events, on Canadian events. Right? I don't mind you toss me a couple of bucks. I don't mind if you don't toss me a couple of bucks at all. If you enjoy my work, by all means. And if you feel like donating, hey, donate. I'm not demanding money. I'm not demanding cash. Well, it's a nice gesture because there's a lot of younger media enthusiasts out there that are trying to get ahead and trying to make it better for them too, you know. And really, this is incredible work. I enjoy what I do. So, why not get paid for it? That's my logic. But as I say again, my listeners, you're in no way obliged to pay my way. If you want to donate, feel free to donate. And there is some perks to donations and some prizes I'm working on in the near future. Right? So back to the hate speech. Say what you want, folks. It's a democracy. A democracy I fought for, my grandfather fought for, and a democracy that we all have to keep fighting for. Especially this election year coming up with all the BS, especially under the Mark Norman case. Victory for him. Well done, sir. And all the other rhetoric that's coming out in regards to that trial, SNC Lavalin again, and, of course, the gun debate in this country. When it comes down to Mr. Bill Blair and his infinite wisdom on his non-answers in Parliament and non-answers during his press conferences, right? I'll leave a link in the bottom of the page there, but Tony Clement made a point in Parliament that something is coming. Oh, interesting. I wonder what. More fear-mongering? Well, let's centralize everything. Let's lock everything up again. Because a handful of idiots who possessed, illegal firearms did something stupid? Or is this because of what happened in New Zealand there a couple months back? Because one individual took it upon himself to be a terrorist and to do a really, really terrible thing. I personally don't care what your religion is, folks. I don't care if you pray to the sun, pray to the moon, pray to the good Lord, pray to Muhammad, pray to Moses. I don't care if you pray to Buddha or pray to your pets. Pray well, do it well, and be good to people. That's what matters. That's what we're supposed to do. Even though some of my opinions may be considered hateful and mean, I'm not going to go knock on someone's door I disagree with and, piss on their deck or punch them in the face. No, I'm not going to do that. There's too much purging going on with some of the media moguls out there today, i.e. Mr. Alex Jones and Mr. Paul Watson Smith there, and Gavin McInnes, and what's that lady's name? I forgot her name. I've actually had a conversation with her briefly on Subscribestar. Laura Loomer, sorry. Yes. They have had a big censorship issue with that, and it's not right. Whether you agree with them or disagree with them, I never watched a lot of InfoWars with Alex Jones, but here's a guy who built a little empire for himself. Regardless of what his logic may be in certain situations. However, to our friends in the States and to my American listeners, well, he's got a right to speak, whether you agree with it or not, right? And same with Paul Watson Smith, good for him. There's a movie coming out about them. I'm not really authorized to give out the name, but needless to say, check it out when it comes out. I might post a link at the end of the podcast here for you to check out. But give them a shout. Give them a thumbs up on some of their work. They've done some courageous things, getting out there and exposing the truth or the way they see it, trying to get something done. Something the mainstream media won't do. Too many people worried about what Trudeau says, how Trudeau handed out $600 million to the mainstream media. We all know it because it's all in favor of his election to make him look good, right? Yeah, it speaks for itself, folks. Needless to say, we got to start backing up these journalists. Whether you agree or disagree, it's free speech, folks. It's free speech, period. I will quote Salman Rushdie, which he said on a Bill Maher show one time. Don't sit there and say you believe in free speech and then add but. It's free speech or not, period. If you believe in free speech, good. If not, well, okay, then that's up to you to figure out. Right? No one's forcing you to turn on the television. No one's forcing you to read a magazine. No one's forcing you to read paper. No one's forcing you to listen to my sorry ass. Right? But if you believe in free speech, stand up for it. Whether it be print, whether it be cyber, whether it be television, or standing in a soapbox in the middle of some square someplace, yelling, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. in the good old-fashioned colonial way. And yes, I said that magical word, folks, the old-fashioned colonial way. And how some kids out there hate the whole word colonial because, you know, how North America was founded on colonialism. Oh, my goodness, the oppression. Yeah, it's not so oppressing when you get a student loan and go to school. And it's not so oppressing when you live in probably the most privileged generation that this country, or both of our countries, or North America has seen in a very, very long time. But then again, you know, oh, help us, it's colonial oppression. No. There's no colonial oppression. You either like Her Majesty or you don't. You either respect our history or you don't. No one's forcing you to accept or tolerate Sir John A. Macdonald's teachings or what Sir John A. Macdonald did. However, he was the founding member of this country, and yeah, he was a bad man. He was an alcoholic, racist, bigoted, sexist, misogynist, you name it. But he brought together Canada. You know, he brought together Upper and Lower Canada. He unified a nation, regardless of what your personal feelings are about him. You know, Louis Riel was a hero too. He stood up for his people. Anybody that stands up for their people, as far as I'm concerned, is a hero. You know, and the only problem was the Giant, well, a bit of a bigot, and he quashed the Red River Rebellion. But needless to say, it's part of our history, and there's really no sides to that conflict other than human rights, right? But that's part of our history. It's a lesson learned, I like to think. But, you know, there's a lesson right there in free speech. You may agree or disagree. That is your bloody right in this country. And there are people that I served with that are not here today because of standing up for free speech. Now, it may not have been here in Canada they were fighting. We were fighting in Afghanistan. You know, we thought we were doing a good job helping the Afghanis out there so they could have freedom of speech, put their daughters in school, let them have clean water, clean food, live in safety and peace and security, right? So yeah, some of my brothers out there didn't make it home. So regardless of what your personal feeling is towards what Canada did in Afghanistan, you didn't see it, folks. We did. Right? We did our jobs to the best of our abilities. Right? And I'm never going to forget those days. I'm not going to forget those tours. I'm not going to forget those faces, especially the guys I served with, the guys I worked with, and some of the incredible leadership I had while I was there, too. Some of the greatest soldiers I know are still in, and they're still kicking ass, taking names. Hoo-ah to them, gentlemen. Hoo-ah to you guys. You know, but, I reflect on that at times, but I'm pretty sure we did a good job. We did our job, did what we could. It's just insulting that when you come home and you got to file this paperwork for this and file this paperwork for that, and you got a government that wants to give $33 or $34 million away to Afghan veterans, like actual Afghan citizens who fought alongside with us, rather than procure 34 or 35 million for us because of the guys that have lost limbs and lost eyes and fingers, and some of them have lost their minds, like yours truly. So, enough of that crap. Enough of living in the past. This is now. Free speech, ladies and gentlemen. You don't like what I have to say? Well, you don't have to tolerate it. You don't have to listen to it. But you want to sit there and stomp your feet and sound like a speak and spell version of Cartman, go right ahead. Right? It's your right. Speak your mind. If you got something valuable to add to this conversation or any of my conversations, feel free to. Right? Especially the individuals there that had trouble listening to my last recording. Like, once again, I'm sorry. I'll fix that right away. But I hope this will make do in the process. And if you feel like donating, please do. Part of my sales pitch conversation, ladies and gentlemen. To my listeners out there and to my viewers on YouTube, I got a special offer coming on. If you donate $5 or close to $10, or between $5 and $10 on my Podbean, on the Patreon button there, what I will do is that if you check out my Teespring and check out Krusty Canuck merchandise, pick a shirt you like, and I will mail it to you, meaning I will pick it up, I will pay the price, And if you commit 5 or 10 or whatever you feel like in between those numbers there, every month I will mail you a shirt of your choice, any t-shirt. Right, that's the offer I have going on right now. You can do that through Subscribestar under Krusty Canuck, or you can do it through krustycanuck.podbean.com at the button Become a Patron. And if you commit $5 or more a month, I will gladly mail you a shirt, no cost to you. Okay, so that's the sales pitch I was referring to, ladies and gentlemen. I'm working on some special events, some other items too. I was talking to an individual. He promised me, or he told me to promise not to mention his name. He's a mutual friend of myself and a few other people, and he offered to pitch in some Amazon cards. He didn't specify what type of card, but some Amazon cards. So I'll keep you posted on that. And I'm also working on a hockey jersey too. A custom-made Krusty Canuck hockey jersey. So keep that in mind. But if you give $5 to $10 a month, I will gladly mail you a shirt of your choice. Okay? So, and if you have any more questions, feel free to reach me via my Facebook page at Krusty Canuck, or on Instagram under Canuck Krusty, or via email at www.krustycanuck.ca or krustybcanuck67@gmail.com. Okay, and I'll sort the finer details out for you if you need more info on the giveaway. So, it's up to you. I'm not demanding money, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not begging for coin, but making these videos and podcasts, takes a bit of time with editing and sound and all this. And since I'm getting used to working my soundboard here, and especially working out the kinks of uploading my video programs again. And the thing is, I sit and I write a lot of stuff down, and I do research, especially when it comes to what governments or leaders are doing, just to prove my points with facts of other news outlets. But a big thank you to the private news industry out there. You guys know who you are. I've given you enough comments on YouTube. And well done, and you sirs and ma'ams, for everything that you've done and keeping the news out there and keeping the stories alive and fresh. Hats off to independent media, folks. They are starting to bring some things to light, even though I mentioned earlier about some of our heroes, Paul Joseph Watson and Alex Jones and Laura Loomer and Gavin McInnes there, fellow Canuck, getting things done and being harassed and being doxxed and being treated like absolute crap because they have their own opinions. Right? So, let's keep that in mind, folks. Let's keep ourselves above water here and stay focused on what's good and what's good for our people, what's good for Canada. That's all Canadians, all shapes and sizes, all dialects. Doesn't matter what gender or what they identify with. Let's start being good to people, folks. Period. Right? But let's fight the good fight, I say again, if you don't like what I have to say, well, you don't have to listen to it. No one's forcing you to listen to my work. No one's sitting in your private association or your home or your tent or your campground with a gun to the back of your head saying, you will listen to Krusty Canuck and like it. Right? No one's saying that to you. You don't have to listen to my show. You don't know what I have to say. You don't have to listen to it. Right? But if you're going to send nasty, rude, disgusting comments to me, well, I just won't give you that platform. Shit simple. Right? So, but if you want to have a debate with me about things, by all means. Right? By all means, let's have a debate. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a civil conversation about some of the crises we have in today's country. Right? Well, let's talk about strife in the United States. Let's talk about strife in Britain. I got a lot of British friends out there that are telling me a lot of good stories, and I'll say that for another episode. But for now, my apologies once again to my listeners who had trouble with my last video. I know I put it up there, and the sound was off. However, I'll maybe be making a new one sometime this week, so stay tuned for that. And once again, thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed on my Podbean and my YouTube channel. Thank you very much once again. It's building up slowly but surely. And please consider donating if you can. Please consider $5 or $10 or $5 to $10, whatever you desire. No pressure, no nothing. And I will personally mail you a t-shirt. That's right, at my expense. I will not ask you for more money for the shirt. You give me, let's say, a monthly commitment of $5 or more, I will gladly mail you a Krusty Canuck t-shirt. No charge. Okay, so therefore you get a nice swanky $30 t-shirt for $5 a month. Hey, where can you go wrong? You know, and if you turn around and you want to cancel the subscription, that's okay too. But please consider giving and donating. As I said, 30% of every donation and every sale, if you choose to buy a shirt on your own, I will graciously give to the Calgary Veterans Food Bank in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, because I believe that food banks need to be looked after. I personally believe we shouldn't have to be at a part in our society when we need food banks, but you know, they need it, and especially fellow veterans out there, they're having a hell of a time getting ahead. So 30% of every sale and every donation I will graciously give to the Calgary Veterans Food Bank. And when I start making some more revenue, I'll be giving a little extra to our local Legion, or if a Legion in my general area needs it, by all means. So there's my spiel, there's my sales pitch. And that has been Krusty Canuck, ladies and gentlemen, on this beautiful May 14th, 2019. And remember what I said about free speech? Say it, spill it. You know, you don't have to agree with someone's platform, but everyone has the right to say it in this country, regardless of what your personal belief is over the color blue, or the color red, or the color yellow, or pink, or purple, right? Everybody has the right to free speech. Doesn't matter how you lean left, or if you lean right, or down the center, or up north, or up south. It doesn't frickin' matter. Free speech is a given right, and it's worth fighting for. Period. Anyway, I've been Krusty Canuck, folks, and take care. Look after your loved ones, and remember, humanity and merit wins the day. Okay? Bye for now.